What's up, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. We've had a pretty volatile weekend on Bitcoin, especially on Saturday following Trump's speech at the Bitcoin conference. We had a pretty big drop, a massive bounce, and then a drop back down to the downside, and now Bitcoin is consolidating near the lows. So, what can you expect next? Well, first, as usual, let's recap what happened since our last update. If you remember in the last update, Bitcoin was right there. And personally, I was looking for a potential bottom to be formed with these lows. So what ended up happening, we did get a pretty nice bounce, but then Bitcoin came back down and broke below these lows. And as soon as that happened, I updated the Discord. We got the breakdown below these lows. And at this point, I wanted to see a fill of the imbalances all the way down to $64,000. If I open back the chart, the low of the imbalances came in exactly at $64,027. So what happened? We got the drop to $64,027 and a lot of interest came in near this area as is shown by these wicks. If I go on the lower time frames, what happened? As soon as we got this very nice bounce on Bitcoin and it was holding very well inside of these imbalances, I updated the Discord again and outlined two scenarios. So this was the update. I saw interest that came in near $64,000 as I just showed you on the chart, and this was a potential reversal point for Bitcoin. So on the lower time frames, I wanted to see a quick drop and then a reversal to the upside. So these were the two scenarios that I outlined. The first one is the one that I just talked about, a quick drop, a break of this double bottom, a test of this imbalance, and then a bounce to the upside. But the second scenario was that if Bitcoin came back down and this imbalance didn't offer any support, then at this point I would expect to break back below this low at around $63,000. So following this logic, I did something very simple. I shorted the highs of this range and then opened a long near the lows. If Bitcoin came down and then came back up, I would get stopped out of my short and then hold on to my long position. However, if Bitcoin came back down and broke below this low, I would get stopped out of my long and then hold on to my short position. What happened? Let's go forward in time. The first scenario played out perfectly. We got the drop, a break of this double bottom, a test of this imbalance which offered very nice support. Bitcoin had a very nice bounce to the upside. I got stopped out of my short position with a tiny loss and then held on to my long position. I took a take profit one on the long and now I'm still holding on to this position which is paying out very nicely. So back to the charts again, we got the scenario, the drop, the break of this double bottom, and then a big reversal to the upside. With all of that said, what's happening right now on Bitcoin and what actually happened yesterday? Was there any logic behind this move? The short answer is yes. If I go on the higher time frames, in the previous update I outlined two resistance levels. The first one was above, So the first one was above this wick. We had these imbalances on the 4-hour chart above $68,700. So what happened? Bitcoin simply came back up into these imbalances on the 4-hour chart. And what happened at the highs? We had massive imbalances. Now, if this move happened on a normal weekday, and I talked about this on the Discord, if this move happened on a normal weekday, I would have very probably shorted this move. However, as this move happened on a weekend, and you had Trump speaking as well, I wasn't too interested in trading these moves. But in any case, that's what happened. We got the move inside of our imbalances with massive imbalances on the 15-minute chart, which offered a pretty nice shorting opportunity. And what happened at the lows? I talked about this level inside of our Discord 2 days ago, $66,700. And what happened? Bitcoin came back down, tapped this level, and offered a very nice bounce. So all in all, that's mainly what happened here. Nothing too complicated. But again, personally, I didn't trade it because usually I don't trade weekends and also I don't trade news. But now let's move on to today's price action on Bitcoin. What can you expect next? Well, as usual, let's outline the resistance and support levels that we have on the chart. If we say on the lower time frames, in my opinion, we have one important resistance above us, which comes in on this imbalance between $68,400 and $68,700. We have an order block, we have a pretty big imbalance, and if you take the volume profile of this price action, the value area high comes in as confluence inside of this area. So if Bitcoin comes back up and is able to break above this level, then personally I would expect to move back above $70,000. However, if we see a move up and a nice rejection, I would like to break back below this low at $66,700. We do also have another resistance, which isn't as important in my opinion, but still just be aware of it. It comes in around the daily open, so around $67,900. So we have the daily open, an imbalance, and a bearish order block. But now if you go on the higher time frames, what levels we have above us? Well, these levels haven't changed since the previous update. The first one is the one that Bitcoin is rejecting right now. So these imbalances right there. And finally, we have bigger imbalances above $70,200. So we have these two candles, which could act as pretty important resistance. And that was mainly it for the levels above us. So again, on the lower time frames, we have this imbalance, which needs to be broken. And then if Bitcoin breaks above it, I would expect to move back above $70,000, which will be the next resistance area. With this in mind, what levels does Bitcoin need to hold as support? Honestly, below us, I just see one support level. And this is the one that I already talked about, which comes in at $66,700. So if Bitcoin comes back down and isn't able to hold this as support, personally, I would love to see a move back to this level that I've been talking about for a while, these imbalances below $62,000. So we have a double bottom, we have imbalances, and in my opinion, if Bitcoin wants to go higher, this is the last logical pool of liquidity. So again, below us, I just see one very important support, $66,700. If we do lose it, I would love to see a move all the way back down to break this double bottom. And honestly, that was mainly it for the charts. As usual, I keep it very simple. We have one important resistance above us and one important support below us. Whichever one Bitcoin breaks first, I would expect a continuation to the upside or to the downside. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this update. As usual, if you have any question, I'm available inside the Discord. So see you soon everyone, and good luck.